up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, my name is Bree and I'm so happy that you're here. Today I'm really excited because I wanted to do a video all about the things that I learned this year during Rush. If you don't know, I go to the University of Alabama and Greek life here is huge. Last year I participated in Rush by being a P&M and rushing, and this year I was one of the girls that rushed new girls. So I feel like I really learned a lot of just the broad scope of Rush, and I feel like the stuff that I learned can help girls that are coming into Rush or that are rushing girls this year, next year, whenever. I just wanted to give you guys some tips and some things that I learned that can hopefully help you. If you don't know, I'm a Pi Phi at the University of Alabama and I absolutely love it. I love Greek life here, but I feel like what I learned can be said for a lot of schools with big Greek life. Hopefully, if you're stressed about Rush or just want someone to want to know a little bit more about it, hopefully this video can help you. I make all kinds of videos about Rush and sorority life and life at Bama, college, things like that. So I hope you stick around and let's get right into the video. Okay, so I have this list on my phone, 10 things that I learned on the other side of Rush. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say, one thing that I need to explain, a P&M is one of the girls going through Rush trying to find a sorority, and active is a girl who's already in the sorority that is rushing girls. So last year I was a P&M, this year I'm an active. So last year when I was a P&M, I always heard girls being like, oh, don't be nervous, the actives are just as nervous as you. And I was like, you're literally kidding me. No, they're not. There's no way. Literally, yes, we are. I was so nervous. Every single round I was talking to a girl, I was so nervous. There was one distinct time where I was talking to a girl in a round during Rush. She was P&M. We were getting up and she was like, I'm so sorry, the seat's probably wet. I'm super sweaty. And I was like, girl, don't even worry about it. I'm so nervous right now. You don't even understand. And she was like, oh, I'm not nervous. Just it's hot outside. And I was like, I can't even use the excuse that it's hot outside because I'm inside. I'm just sweating profusely from anxiety. No other explanation than I'm just an anxious human being and I freak out before this stuff. So what I'm gonna tell you is know that 95% of girls are just as nervous as you. None of us really know exactly what we're doing. Being on this side of Rush was new for me this year, so I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know exactly what to say at all times. So, we're all just kind of figuring it out. And if you're a P&M and you're rushing and you're really nervous, I know that this won't help you be less nervous, but hopefully it'll just be a little bit more comforting to know that the girl talking to you, this might be her first time and she's just as nervous as you. The only difference is when you're a P&M and you're rushing, the stakes seem to be a little higher just because you're the individual trying to find a sorority. And obviously as an active this year, we're trying to find the best girls, but there's less riding on it just because my mom texted me and was like, why are you nervous? You're already in your sorority. So that is true. The stakes are definitely higher when you're a P&M, but I feel the anxiety can just be a lot when you're an active and there's just so much going on, back-to-back parties, and it can just be really overwhelming. Don't know exactly what you're doing. It can be a little bit scary. So just know it's gonna be stressful no matter what. Everyone's anxious and nervous. I mean, in my experience. So if you're rushing and you're nervous, just know that the active you're talking to is most likely just as nervous as you. Okay, so the next thing that I kind of wanted to clear up, last year when I was rushing, I really thought that these girls stalk me for months and know every little detail about my life. And the reality is we at least in my experience, we don't know the girl we're gonna be talking to until right before. We might have time to look her up on Instagram just to see what she looks like so we can make sure we're picking up the right girl. But we don't have time to go through, there's 2,500 girls rushing, we don't have time to learn where they're from or what they like to do. So when I was talking to a girl and getting to know her, I genuinely was curious about, what did you do in high school? What are you interested in? Because when I was rushing last year, I thought, they're just asking me that. They already know every single detail about my life. They're just pretending they don't know. I literally didn't know anything about anybody rushing. I knew nothing, so I really was just trying to get to know the girl, especially during philanthropy round. Don't be intimidated by the fact that the sorority already knows everything about you, because in my experience, we don't. I didn't know anything about anybody. Don't feel pressured by that. Don't feel like you're walking into a room where everyone knows you and everyone is picking you apart. We really do just want to get to know you. Really not as scary and intense as people make it out to be. My next piece of advice is to just know that your outfit really does not matter. We're not supposed to compliment a girl on her outfit just because we don't want them to think that we're choosing her just because of the brand she's wearing or the clothes she's wearing, because that's not what makes a girl who she is. I definitely like caught myself complimenting girls like earrings and accessories sometimes, but that's just because for me, like a great way to start a conversation is complimenting someone. Like I do that all the time, and then I can be like, oh my god, I absolutely love going shopping, or I love making bracelets and all this stuff. You know, you can just bring a lot into that, but we're really not supposed to like tell you we like your outfit or like ask where it's from, just because that's not what Rush is about. So honestly, like find an outfit that you feel cute in, because literally all that matters is that you feel confident in it. Because I know for me, I perform so much better when I'm like dressed cute and I feel cute and I'm wearing something that represents me and makes me feel good and makes me feel like I stand out, and whatever that means to you. Don't be like, oh, I need to wear this, I need to wear this because I want them to like me. Like we literally, I couldn't tell you what one girl that I talked to was wearing. Like, does not matter what you wear. If you want to just wear something super basic, like that's totally fine. Literally doesn't affect anything at all. So wear something that you feel cute and confident in. That's literally all that matters. My next tip is to have questions prepared when you go into the houses, because more often than not, a girl is gonna ask you like, do you have any questions about our philanthropy, about our sisterhood, whatever. I tried not to do that as much as I could. I try to just keep the conversation flowing, but sometimes like if there's a lull in the conversation, it's a good question to ask, and it'll really show like if a P&M is genuinely interested. On one side I had girls say like, yeah, like tell me your favorite philanthropy event, or like tell me what's your favorite way to get involved, or what's your favorite thing about your sisterhood, what's your favorite sisterhood activity, what's your favorite thing to do with sisters outside of being on campus. So those questions are great because one, they show that the P&M is interested, and two, it keeps the conversation going. But I also had P&Ms, on the other hand, when you would ask them that, they'd be like, no, I don't think so. And for one, that's just like awkward and there's really nowhere to go from that. And for two, it kind of shows that like maybe they aren't super interested in the sorority, or they're not really thinking too hard about it. And so that's like something we have to take into account. So I would say definitely have some questions just in the back of your mind. And if that question comes up like, oh, do you have any questions? Always have those prepared, because it shows that you're interested and you want to learn more. And honestly, Rush is about like, you just gotta keep the conversation going, because the second there's like an awkward silence, it's just really weird for everyone involved. And sometimes, like for me as an active, I'm normally pretty good about keeping a conversation going, but like every great now and then, it'd be like, oh, like there's really like nothing else to say, because I just feel like maybe the person isn't like super invested or super interested, and it can just get really awkward. Even if you are super interested, it may come across like you're not. So just definitely have questions prepared. Ask things that you are genuinely curious about. The next piece of advice is to reserve your social battery as much as possible. This is true for both sides of Rush, but I definitely feel like on the recruitment side of Rush, like being an active, you definitely have to reserve your social battery, because it is so much going on. It's a very draining experience, because you're doing back-to-back parties from like 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then like during your lunch break, like everyone's talking and getting lunch and all this stuff's going on. After the parties, you have to go and talk about how the day went, and then like you and your friends might want to go get food. Like it is just, you are constantly surrounded by people, and that's great, and I love that. But at the same time, I knew for myself, I needed some times where I just had peace and quiet. Anytime we'd have like a 30-minute break, I would normally go sit in my room, play on my computer, watch some TV. A lot of times during lunch, I would also go into my room. And then also, something that I really like to do is going to sit in the lounge where like people would be. We were all kind of doing our own thing, and like you don't have to be on, you know, for that. And then after like Rush, I would go get food with my friends. Social battery you need to like talk to these girls throughout Rush is just so much. Afterwards, you really need to like take time for yourself, and like if you feel yourself getting drained throughout the day, definitely like use those breaks to go to your room or go sit by yourself, play on your phone, whatever it may be. Because I know I definitely got really overwhelmed sometimes. As much as I love being around people and talking to people, like that's one of my favorite things ever, I also know that I do need time to myself, or else I'll get really like cranky and overwhelmed. Just know yourself and know that if you are getting overwhelmed, like that's totally normal if you're a P&M or an active, and make sure that you take time for yourself and whatever that means to you. The next piece of advice I have is you definitely need to be getting enough sleep during this process. I know as an active, Rush is a 2-week long process, because we have work week and then a week and a half of like Rush. So it's about 15 days of that, and that is a lot. I know I definitely did not get as much sleep as I should have. I tried my best, and on the mornings where we got to go in a little bit later, I definitely took advantage of that. But definitely make sure you're getting enough sleep, because I know people that were getting sick because they weren't sleeping enough. For me, I know my anxiety is a lot worse when I'm not sleeping enough, so it's really important to get a lot of sleep and make sure you're well rested. And speaking of getting enough sleep, I'm so excited to be working with Vesta Sleep. They have completely upped my sleeping game, and I'm absolutely obsessed with their products. Today I want to show you guys the Vesta pillow. Vesta is a brand that values quality of sleep and a healthy lifestyle, brought by the power of science and technology. Their products feature high performance materials, futuristic designs, and quality craftsmanship. So I got the Purple Zen vegan down pillow, and I'm gonna unbox it with you guys today. Guys, I'm not even kidding. This is the softest pillow I've ever felt. We gotta lay on it. We gotta do the lay on it test. This pillow is hypoallergenic and it molds to fit you. It is the absolute perfect pillow to get the best sleep you need. Trust me, this is the perfect pillow for you. And I can't wait to level up my sleep with the Vesta pillow. I'm gonna put my discount code on the screen so you can get your very own Vesta pillow. Thank you so much to Vesta for sending me this pillow. I'm absolutely obsessed and I can't wait to tell all my friends about it. The moment of truth. Oh my gosh. Y'all, this is so comfortable. I literally could fall asleep right now. Good night, guys. This isn't necessarily like a piece of advice, but it's kind of just something I wanted to say. It really is such a numbers game. The numbers that go into all of this is like crazy to me. Like, there's really like nothing you can do about that. There's nothing really anyone can do about it. Sometimes it's hard because I know that like tying my worth to a number has always been like a really big issue for me in many ways. So that's just like one thing that's not like my favorite thing about Rush, that it's just so subjective, and just like the whole numbers thing, I'm not like, I don't love that. It's kind of just inevitable. Like, it's just the way that Rush works. If something happens during Rush and you're cut from a house, or you don't get a party that you're hoping for, like, just know that it literally has nothing to do with you. You could have been absolutely amazing. Maybe you're meant for another house. And I truly believe that like everyone ends up in the house that they're meant to be. I absolutely love every single house on Bama's campus. Like, I truly have nothing bad to say about any of them. I think they all have amazing girls and they all stand for amazing things. And so wherever you end up is incredible, and if you don't end up anywhere, that's totally fine too. Whatever happens is not a reflection of you at all. You're amazing, and your talent and joy and love is so valued, and do not take any of it to heart, because when it comes down to it, it is not a reflection of who you are, and you are so much bigger than this entire experience, this entire process. You as an individual matter way more than getting into any sorority could possibly be. Just remember that on both sides of Rush. I think it's really important to remember that if you're an active, to not treat a girl as a number. She's an individual and a person. You are so much more than that number, and the number of houses you get back and where you end up. And in the same vein as that, like, just know that when you're talking to an active, let's say you don't vibe with them, and in the same vein of that, just know, like, if you are PNM and you're talking to an active and maybe you don't vibe with them, know you kind of have to like vote based on how your conversations go. But don't like think of that sorority any differently just because you didn't vibe with one member, because I promise you, like, one member is not a reflection of the entire chapter. Such a vast variety of girls in my sorority, and I know in every sorority here. So just because you maybe don't vibe with one person doesn't mean that like that sorority's horrible or whatever. So just know that like maybe you just didn't connect with the person, but someone else could. So just try to like really keep an open mind, and know that just because you didn't love a house doesn't mean it's not a great house. Just know that there are incredible girls in every sorority, and I fully believe that. The next thing I wanted to say is that I actually felt more stress on this side of Rush than I did last year, and I really don't know why, because like I said, the stakes weren't as high this year, so I don't really know what I was nervous about, but I was really anxious. Like, it was pretty bad. I just like really wanted girls to like connect with me and like vibe with our house, and I wanted to be like a good reflection of the house. I really just tried really hard to like make every girl feel like super welcomed and special and valued, because all the girls I talked to were absolutely incredible and amazing. Like, I think my anxiety was higher this year just because like it's so overwhelming having parties all day, because when you're a PNM, you might have parties, but you're never gonna have like 12 parties in one day, you know? So like, I think this year just having like back to back stuff is a lot. Like, as a PNM, you're not really expected to like know anything, like you don't, but when you're an active, like you kind of have to be on. You're like the person, the recruiter. And then also like something that I don't love is that work week runs right into rush week, so you literally do not get a second to breathe. So I think my anxiety was just running high from like it being such a long process and just being overwhelmed and tired and all the things. I think all that played into my anxiety. I was definitely more stressed this year. It was a really fun process and I did enjoy it, but I would definitely say, like, anxiety wise, I was not vibing sometimes. I was a little bit overwhelmed. Hopefully that's, if you're a PNM, maybe that'll be a little bit more comforting, because yeah, I was freaking out every single day. So I am obsessed with our new members. They're incredible and I cannot be happier that they're home. Awesome. It was worth it. It was just really stressful in the moment. So the next thing that I wanted to say, I actually think this is really important because it's something we talked about a lot this year. Normally during pref round, you kind of have to decide, like, you have to tell the sorority if you want to be in that house or if you found your home somewhere else. But I would say, like, with how just like big Bama Rush has gotten and just how many girls are going into the house, to stand out, you really have to, I would say from sisterhood round, kind of like start telling the houses if you feel at home there. And even if you have like 2 or 3 that you're like really connecting with, like, you should go in and tell them why you like their sorority. Because there are a few times where I would like ask a girl, like, how are you feeling about like our house, like what are you thinking? And they'd be like, yeah, it's cool, and then like talk about something else. But the girls that would come in and be like, oh my gosh, I love Pi Phi because I love that you guys are involved and I love the feeling I get when I'm here. And like the girls that would like tell me something direct about Pi Phi were the girls that I was like super passionate about. Personally, I wouldn't want to fight for someone to be in our sorority if they didn't want to be there, just because if they found their home somewhere else, like, I want them to go to that place. Like, I want them to be happy. I wouldn't want to fight for them to be here if they'd rather be somewhere else. It's really hard when a girl isn't like super upfront about it, doesn't show much interest in like your specific house. It's a really good like sign if the girl is like complimenting what she likes about the house or how she feels at home there. So I would say if you are a PNM, definitely by sisterhood round, start like kind of narrowing it down, telling the sororities that you're really interested in, that you're super interested in them. You don't want a girl to be there if she doesn't want to be there. You want to let her go to where she does want to be. And also as an active, like, if a girl isn't super excited about your house, like, that's okay. Like, your sorority can't accept every girl anyways. Every time I had a conversation with a girl and they would tell me that they were conflicted or like they weren't super sure, I would always just make them super comfortable and tell them, look, like, if you found your home somewhere else, like, I am so happy for you. That is amazing. And like, I'm here for you no matter what. Know that Pi Phi loves you, know that I love you, but no matter what, I'm happy for you. Don't make them feel like a burden for telling you that they found their home somewhere else. And last thing that I wanted to say is just make sure you're putting it all into perspective. It really is a fun experience, and try not to stress too much about it. I know that's easier said than done. Try to enjoy the process and know that you are so loved and that you are so much bigger than all of this. You're so much bigger than what sorority you're in or not in. You can do incredible things in college without Greek life. But I personally, I've loved my experience in Greek life. I have nothing but amazing things to say. You are so loved and I'm so proud of you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helped you in some way. I had a great time making it and I love my sorority and all sororities at Bama, and I'm so glad I got to make this video. I hope it was helpful. I'll see you guys very, very soon. I hope you're having an amazing day, an amazing back to school season, and I'll see you soon. Bye!